In previous lecture, we have finished with the dipole moment for the molecules, various molecules, and its relationship with the spectroscopy. Now we will study the polarization of the molecules and how it can be useful for the Raman spectroscopy. Okay, so this polarization concept is applicable to the Raman spectroscopy. So dipole moment is applicable to what? IR spectroscopy. So now consider the polarization of the molecule. So what do you mean by polarization? So polarization is simply a charge separation. Okay. So dipole moment is a one kind of charge separation also, but the dipole moment is what? It is the inherent property of the given molecule. So it is naturally present in the given molecule. So it is depending upon the electronegativity difference. But suppose if you want to like increase the dipole moment of the given molecule, or suppose we are having the non-polar molecules like H2 or some other molecules, homoatomic dilinear molecules. Okay, so their molecules can be having certain, or their that molecules can be generated with certain amount of dipole moment or some charge separation. So how we can generate that charge separation? So in order to generate the charge separation for the non-polar molecules, we just simply need to apply certain external electrostatic field. Okay, so we need to apply the external electrostatic field so that we can induce the dipole moment, or the induce the electric polarization in the given molecules. Okay, so consider the general molecule, or general atom. Okay, which is being placed in the electrostatic field. So due to the this electrostatic field, there is a distortion of electronic structure of the molecule. So due to this distortion, what will happen? So there is a change in the electrons around the molecules, as well as the nucleus which is present in the center. Okay, so due to this, what happened? The separation of center of positive and negative charges will occur. So this displacement of electronic charges is called as what? Simply the electron polarization, because the distortion of electrons. And that for nuclear charge separation or nuclear charge distortion, it is called as a atomic polarization or atomic distortion. Okay, so the sum of total values, or these two values, get together to give the what? The total distortion or the induced polarization, which is represented by the symbol of PD. Okay, so this PD is what? PD is the combination of both electronic distortion or electronic polarization, and this is the atomic or nuclear polarization. Okay, the polarization caused to the nucleus. So here both this atomic as well as electronic polarization has been considered for the induced polarization. Okay, induced polarization. Now the electric field which is applied is being responsible for what? The induced polarization, because if you apply more electric field, external electric field, we will get the more polarization, and if you apply less electric field, we will get less induced polarization. So there is a relation that electric field which is applied for the polarization of or induced polarization and resulting into what? The dipole moment, or simply induced dipole moment, which is represented by the symbol of mu I. Okay, I is standing for what? It stands for the induced dipole moment. So the induced dipole moment is depending upon the external electric field E, as well as alpha. Alpha is what? Alpha is the constant which is called as a polarizability for the given molecule. Okay, polarizability for the given molecule. So in this diagram we can see what actually happen when we apply the external magnetic field. So this, consider this molecule which is oriented likewise. Okay, so positive direction and negative direction, but due to the application of external electric field, this molecule will oriented in such a way that this negative pole will attracted towards the positive direction of the electric field, or the positive pole of the electric field, and positive uh, or the nucleus of the molecule get attracted towards the negative field of the electric side. Okay, so this is how the molecule will oriented itself in the external electric field, and due to this, there is a polarization of charges. Okay, polarization of the charges in the molecule in presence of external electric field that will shows the induced dipole from the neutral molecule. Okay, now the polarizability alpha, which can be measured with the ease of how the molecule which can be polarized in the given electric field. Okay, so the distortion or the induced polarization per mole is simply called as a molar induced polarization. Okay, so there are the two cases where we can have the either uh, non-polar molecule or the polar molecule. Okay, so the non-polar molecule will acquire the dipole moment when it is kept in the electric field, but this electric polarization is kept what, temporary, and it is depending upon the strength of electric field, and it will get disappeared when the electric field is removed. Okay, so for the non-polar molecule we can say that this electric field will decide the magnitude of polarization as well as the magnitude of dipole moment, as well as it will get disappear when the electric field is removed. So this is the case for the non-polar molecule. Now consider for the polar molecule. We know that polar molecules are inherently having its own dipole moments. Okay, initially they are having the its own dipole moment, but when such molecules are kept into the electric field, what will happen, they will get oriented so that its positive end is near to the negative pole and its negative end is near to the positive pole. So if we are having the molecule in absence of electric field, they are oriented in the all direction, but if we place that molecule in the proper electric field, it will get oriented properly. Okay, likewise this positive end of the molecule will directed towards what, the negative pole of the electric field. Okay, so due to this orientation effect on the molecules, they will generate what, the electric field, and this is called as a orientation polarization. Okay, this is the new type of polarization which is only observed in the case of what, polar molecule, and it is called as a orientation polarization. So the orientation polarization per mole is called as a molar orientation polarization. Molar orientation polarization. So overall we can say that this total polarization is nothing but this is induced polarization, which is of addition of what, electronic polarization and atomic polarization. And the now we have studied about the orientation polarization, that is PO. Okay, so this is all about the polarization. And if you like want to have the magnitude of polarization and its various factors which will decide the polarization, so this polarization will depending upon the dielectric constant of the medium. So this formula is correlating all of these terms. Okay, this polarization will depending upon the dielectric constant of the medium. Okay, D, then molar mass of the or molecular weight of the substance, then density of that particular substance. Okay, so these are the various parameters which will affect the induced polarization in the given molecules. Okay, so we are not going into the details of this mathematical terms. Okay, so now only consider that this polarization concept is useful in the molecular spectroscopy, and it is specifically applicable for what, Raman spectroscopy. Okay, so when the Raman spectroscopy started, we will again see this polarization concept there for the specific molecules like we have seen for the uh, IR spectroscopy. Okay, so now we will start with the first spectroscopy, that is the rotational spectra for the given molecule. Okay, now this rotational spectroscopy is quite useful, or this microwave spectroscopy is quite useful in this case, where we have used the IR as well as Raman spectroscopy, but we have not obtained the spectra properly. Okay, so we can say that this Raman spectroscopy and IR spectroscopy, when they does not show the proper spectra, then we can use this rotational spectroscopy so as to obtain the spectra of the given molecule. Okay, and we know that this rotational spectroscopy uses what, microwave radiation. So sometime it is also called as a microwave spectroscopy. And if we see the specific range of radiations that are being used in this microwave spectroscopy is what, 100 centimeter 100 meter inverse to the 1 centimeter inverse. Okay, so this is the radiation range, so you need to remember this radiation range for the specific spectroscopic, like for this rotational it is 100 centimeter inverse to the 1 centimeter inverse. Okay, now the energy of these radiations is just sufficient so as to cause only rotation of the molecules. Okay, so these radiations are only capable of rotating the molecule about its axis. Okay, and we have to like tell the source of the microwave radiation. So source for the radiation is klystron tube. It is an electric oscillator in which the beam of electrons are being pulsed by using the some electric field, high electric field between the cathode and the reflector. As a result of what, the monochromatic radiations are being produced having the frequency of around 95,000 megahertz. Okay, 95,000 megahertz. So here we are getting certain values like the uh, range of the radiation, that is 100 meter inverse to 1 centimeter inverse, and the frequency of radiation is 95,000 megahertz. Okay, and the source of this microwave radiation is the klystron tube. So only those molecules which can absorb the microwave radiations which are having the resultant dipole moment. Okay, here we will see this resultant dipole moment. So those molecules are having certain resultant dipole moment, they can only absorb this microwave radiation, or they can only able to show this rotational or microwave spectra. Okay, such a molecule upon rotation can generate the electric field, and this electric field of this molecule is being capable of interacting with the electric component of the microwave radiations. Okay, this is the resonance phenomenon. So one has to like match the frequency of radiation and that of the molecule. So here we are considering the rotational spectroscopy. So we have to consider the electric part of the microwave radiations and electric part of the molecule, because due to the rotation of the molecule, the electric part of the molecule gets rotated. Okay, or the electric part of the molecule gets deflected. Okay, so when these two electric part, that is one for the molecule and one for the radiations, they get perfectly matched, that is resonance, the molecule will absorb or radiate the energies which will then produces a spectrum. Okay, so we will get the absorption spectrum for this rotational spectroscopy based upon the radiations or the frequency of the rotation in the molecule. So molecule will undergo the changes in the rotational energy due to the absorption of this microwave radiations. Okay, so in order to generate the certain correlation of these radiations with the molecule, we need to first consider the rotational motion of the molecule. Okay, so what actually happen in the given molecule when this molecule is rotated about its center of mass. Okay, so we'll consider that case in the ideal manner. Okay, because we know that the best way to generate the certain generalized concept is to consider it for the ideal case and then apply it for the real molecules. Okay, so for the ideal case we will consider only the rigid rotor molecule. So this rigid rotor is again an ideal molecule like we have used in the thermodynamics, like ideal gas as such. Okay, so all the molecules may not be perform in this same manner. Okay, there might be some fluctuation because this rigid rotor consisting of what, two main important assumption. One is that this molecule is being, first of all, it is rigid one, means it is not being like stretchable one or as such. And second one is that the vibrational motion of the bond or the vibrational motion of the whole molecule is being considered to be zero. Okay, so that we can say that the molecules are, or the atoms are at stationary position, and this molecule is again being the rigid one. Okay, so these are the two important assumptions that has been made into this rigid rotor. So there is a quite important derivation of this rigid rotor and how that moment of inertia can affect the overall energy of the rotational energy, that we can see in the next lecture. Okay.